Yah with us or not? Is he with his people or not? And I want to show you a story in Numbers, the 14th chapter, verses 39 through 45. I'm going to flip the screen, and because I don't want to be long for you. Okay. Numbers, the 14th chapter, starting at verse 39 through 45. And when Moses had spoke these words to the children of Israel, the people mourned greatly. And they rose up early in the morning, and they went up to the top of the mountain, saying, "See, we have indeed sinned. But we shall go up to the place which Yahuwah has spoken." But Moses says, "Why do you transgress the commands of Yahuwah, since it does not prosper?" Verse 42, "Do not go up, lest you be smitten by your enemies, for Yahuwah is not in your midst, or he is not with you." Verse 43, "Because the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you, and you shall fall by the sword, because you have turned away from Yahuwah. Yahuwah is not with you." Verse 44, "But they have presumed to go up to the mountaintop. Neither the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah nor Moses left the camp. So the Amalekites and the Canaanites who dwelt in the mountain came down and smote them and beat them down even to Hormah." Now, why wasn't Yahuwah with his people? He wasn't with his people because his people sinned. And by the way, the Amalekites are their distant cousin. The Amalekites are like the grandchildren of Esau. Esau and Jacob were twin brothers. And the Canaanites, these are the children of Ham, which was one of the children of Ham, the Canaanites, the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, or the Cushites, and the Libyans, or whatever. Okay, so sin separated his people. Uh, Sin separated his people from him. Let me flip the screen. So sin separated his people uh, from him. And if you have read the scriptures, when they set up camp, when they came out of Egypt, the tent of appointment, where the inner court and the where the priests did their priestly work, was in the center of the camp, and all the other tribes' camps were surrounded the tent of appointment where the Most High dwelt. So when he says he wants to dwell in the midst of his people, he meant that. He in Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, he says that I have chosen you to be my special people. And then in Deuteronomy 4, it says that what other nation so great is there that has all these great laws? He says, surely this is a great and understanding people. This is what Moses prophesied and said about the Most High's chosen people. He said, surely these are great and understanding people. Why? Because they have these laws, these statutes and commandments that separates them from the other nations. Because the things that the other nations were doing, those Canaanites, the Amalekites, the Havites, the Jebusites, the lifestyle and the rituals and the customs of the other people were disgusting. That's hello to everybody in the chat. That is what separated the Most High's people from the other nations. If you kept his laws and statutes and commandments, which kept you clean, kept you from eating things that was disgusting, kept you from disgusting behaviors, as far as men with men, women with women, things of that nature. That's why he gave his people those laws, because he wanted a special people for himself that was not like the other people. It's just that simple. In Malachi 3 and 6, it says that Malachi 3 and 6, it says that I am God and I change not. Neither are the sons of Jacob consumed. So even though this was written thousands of years ago, God does not change. He allows time to change, but he is not changed by time because he sits above time and he allows time. He gives life and he takes away life. He can do that because it's his to give. But not to get off track, but he said it's it's your sin that has separated you from me, and if you have been separated from me because of your sins, by your lifestyle, by your ways or whatever, uh, there's no protection. So, as we see here in Numbers, the 14th chapter, his people wanted to go up and fight with the Amalekites and the Canaanites, but it tells them, Moses said, do not go up because these Amalekites, these Edomites, and these Canaanites, these Egyptians, they're going to beat you down and they're going to win. They're going to conquer you because the Most High is not with you. And the reason why he is not with you is because you have rebelled and you have not kept his word. It's just that simple. If you rebel against the Most High's word, you reject his laws, his statutes, and commandments. Why would he want to be with a people that he can't lead if he's truly your God? If he's told you something in his word not to do, let's say if he tells you not to eat pork, okay, over in Leviticus the 11th chapter and Deuteronomy the 14th chapter, and you just say, "Well, I'll just pray over it." Well, if he told you you could pray over it, then he wouldn't have told you not to eat it. He's the one who designed the body. He made Adam from the dirt. If he's the creator of the body, shouldn't the creator know what's best for the body? Okay, and for those, and I'm talking about sin here that separates us from our God. But for those who think that uh, praying over something that he told you not to clearly do, Proverbs 28:9, it says, "They who turns their ear from hearing my law, your prayers is an abomination to me." So if you don't want to hear his laws, don't even bend the knee to pray. It's just that simple because he says, I will not hear you because you want me to follow what your ways instead of you following my ways. Uh, Yeshua said that I'm the good shepherd and the sheep follow me. The word was given to the people to follow the sheep, to follow him because he is the shepherd. Okay, John 1:14, it says, "And the Word was made flesh and it dwelt among us." So, for those who didn't know, Moses, Jesus, Yeshua, was talking to Moses because it's. How do we know this? John, the first chapter says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And then, if you go down to the 14th verse, it says, "And the Word became flesh and it dwelt among us." Hello to everybody in the chat. So, in order for our God to truly be with his chosen people, we have to cling to him. We have to cling to his word. We have to do what he expects us to do to the best of our abilities because it is sin that separates us from our God. That is why my ancestors got scattered out of Africa into all the different nations because they did not keep his laws, his statutes, and commandments. And now we're trying to turn back to him. We're trying to turn back to him. But how do we turn back to him? We have to turn back to him by doing the things that he told us to do. That's the thing. You can't find nowhere. Jesus said it in Matthew 5:17. He says, "Think not that I've come to destroy the law or the prophets." Jesus is the master. He's the one who's going to come back and judge everybody. That's why you need to listen to what he says closely and study what he says closely. And then if you drop down to two verses down to verse 19, uh, he actually endorsed and encouraged us to preach the law. He says, "Whosoever shall teach his brother the least of these laws, he will be called least in the kingdom." Then he says, "But he that does and teaches and encourages the law will be called great in the kingdom." So Jesus didn't take away the law. He actually encouraged us to preach the law. And the law is what keeps us close to our God because he's the king, and there's not a kingdom that does not have laws. You have to understand that. Just like every country that you go to, they have laws that govern, that keeps peace, that keeps order. That's what his word does. It keeps the peace, it keeps the order, it keeps the blessings, it keeps the protection on his people. So I hope y'all can receive this on the Sabbath. I'm not going to be long. I'm getting ready to get off for here. Hello to everybody again in the chat. But it's sin that separates us from our God. And if sin separates us from our God, what will bring us back in alignment and close to our God? Turn away from our sin, right? Hope y'all can receive this. Peace and blessings. Shalom to everybody. Happy Sabbath.